I know it's just an initial look, but based on kind of what you saw today and the conversations you guys are having, what's a realistic timeline you think for John?
Yeah, we haven't got into that at all. We met him this morning. We talked about the system, so he's comfortable out on the ice. You know, obviously, he's got to feel comfortable, and he's been on the ice for a long period of time. And now we have to get comfortable with what we see. You know, it's difficult to just join in mid-season, but you think of the level of player that he is, that John will adapt quite quickly. But right now, we don't have an exact timeline of when exact gates. We've got an idea, but we don't want to say that that's going to be the day.
Days, weeks? Like,
It'll be at least a week, and if not, definitely would like him playing games before we hit the break.
Kris, you said that you had conversations with Stan, yourself, and Paul. What did you and him talk about as far as what made you feel more comfortable and want to bring him in?
The fact that he'd been skating as long as he had, and the reports on his injury, and and his experience, his playing level that he's used to, and obviously that pulled him back. The hips were bothering him for quite some time. He wanted to get those addressed. He wanted to make sure that he was ready to play and not rush it. And he probably could have been ready to play in a training camp, for an NHL training camp, but he wanted to make sure he was ready and have a good year and making sure that his body's 100% so he can just make a good impression to help himself in the future. So I liked everything that I heard about that, and I think anytime you can add a defenseman of that caliber, that it was absolutely no-brainer for us. We wanted to take that chance, and I'm very I believe it's going to be a very good investment for our team.
Kris, how about facing a guy like Ovechkin and what he's been able to do, especially late in his career?
No, it's incredible what he's been able to do. You know, he had a short period of time when they're thinking that his career was kind of on the tail end, and you know, it wasn't a very long stretch, and he silenced that in a hurry and put up goals last year and this year, and you know, he just finds a way. And you know, playing against that type of player, you can't give him any space. You can't relax for a moment, because if you do, that's where he's going to make you pay.
What have you seen in a few games here from Noah Phil? And maybe just a thought on Derek Ryan, cleared waivers today, and just what his role might be moving forward, how this might look.
With Noah, I think Noah's played really well. He's since his recall. I think he's been spot on with all their systems, what we expect from him. His speed, his physicality helps. You know, he is very strong. He's very fast. And the one thing that's important is just making, thinking at the NHL level, the speed of the game. And, you know, the first two games, there were some things that closed quickly. Last game, I thought it was outstanding. And that's just not on you know, Noah Phil. That's anybody who comes up from the American League or college or from any other level. When they come to the NHL, things happen fast. There's not much time and space, and it's anybody's going to take a little bit of time to get adjusted to that. And I think he's done an incredible job with that. So, you know, it's only 3 games. You never know with a player. They might be just playing off adrenaline, and they're able to make that strong impression. But I believe that he'll be able to continue the way he's been playing and help us in the future.
And Derek? Sorry, Derek.
Oh, and Derek? Derek has just cleared waivers. An extremely hard thing for the organization to do. He's been with his team for a long period of time, and he means a lot to the coaching staff, but a tremendous amount of respect from the players, how they've helped, how he has helped them through their time with the Oilers. And I believe there'll be a time where he's back playing with us. But what that timeline is, I have no idea. You know, with injuries, it could be next weekend. If everything goes well, where players are playing well, it might be months down the road. I don't know, but so anyways, he cleared waivers, and he'll report sometime to Bakersfield, and we'll move forward from there.
What are your thoughts on, looks like you're going to lose your captain for a game or two. What are your thoughts on that and the events that led up to it?
I'm not sure what I can say. Obviously, there was a lot of frustration. Connor plays through a lot. Ironically, doesn't draw very many penalties. Our team doesn't draw very many penalties, for that matter, and which is kind of ironic because we usually have the puck and other teams defending more. But you look at around the NHL, if you're a team that doesn't take very many penalties, you usually don't get many power plays. If you take a lot of if you take a lot of penalties, you get a lot of the power plays. And there are some outliers, but it's pretty much, it's not just the NHL. Any league, you look at that, how many penalties you have is pretty much how many power plays. It's very similar. Now, as for the incidents, it's unfortunate. I'm not sure what I can say about it.
Does he put up with more than the average player, or is that just because he's in the spotlight more?
He puts up way more because I don't want to speak for other team star players of what they put up with, but he's under the microscope every time he's on the ice because he's dangerous. Don't give him room. Give him another shot. Hold him a little bit. Tug on his jersey. Get in his way. All those little things that maybe could be called penalties, but maybe not. If you called every single one, then as you're changing the game, it's a fine line. But I definitely believe he puts up more than the average player. I'm not saying the average superstar or the super stars around for other teams. I don't watch every single game, but as for what I see every night, yes, Connor puts up with quite a bit.
As a team, there's not much you can do about that? I mean, the old days are gone.
It's a little bit different. You can't just grab a guy and beat him to a pulp. That's you can't. Otherwise, you're suspended. If a guy wants to be an agitator and cross-check and slash, in the past you could just grab him and do something about it. Now, if there's that pest who wants to do that, and if you want to fight that pest, he doesn't have to fight. He doesn't have to do anything. It makes it a difficult situation. That's where you rely on the referees to call the game appropriately and play the game.
Kris, you guys had some nice comebacks on the road trip, but obviously getting down early isn't a recipe for long-term success. What have you seen early in the games that's maybe causing you guys to, give up the first?
I think 5-on-5, we talked about our chances against and for. The scores say that we were getting outplayed. I think 5-on-5, the chances were very similar, if not in our benefit. Over these games. The one thing that has showed up is taking a few more penalties in the first period than drawing and not being able to kill those. So I think that's probably been the biggest outline of why those scores have not gone in our favor early in games.
Why have you been going 11-7 more?
I don't know. I just feel that's I don't have we discuss what we need in our game and the way we rotate the pairs for the D. We just have I can't get into why we went 11-7 for one game and not the next, and why somebody came out. So sorry, right now I don't have an answer.
No, that's okay. Just you seem more open to it than you were before.
I'm more open-minded now.